Well, hello there.
Welcome, friends. Enjoying another temperate
Yeah,
Florida spring day.
yeah, it's pretty. It was like super hot all week, and then today, like this cool breeze has come out of nowhere, and I mean, I'm wearing a hoodie, and I'm fine. It's lovely today,
A
absolutely lovely.
little overcast, but hey, when it comes to Florida weather, overcast is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yep. And we have an interesting offering today.
We do. Can't see from that vantage. This is Casa Salvia
Yeah,
Mexican gin.
Mexican gin.
Now, little caveat, this is not the first time I have bought this product. I got this about a year ago on an impulse buy for two reasons. First off, it's really eye-catching. This is a pretty bottle.
Yeah.
The
Frosted
gradient,
green
yeah,
gradient.
the frosted gradient is really pretty. And secondly, I was not aware of any distillery in Mexico making a gin.
Yeah.
So again, bought it on a whim, and out of the blue, Total Wine sent me an email stating they had a sale going on it, because even before the sale, this still fit into our bottom shelf criteria of under $29.99. It is now on sale for $24.99 locally.
Yeah. Locally, that's here in Florida. Your price may vary. So,
Your mileage may vary.
exactly.
Gin's kind of a love it or leave it thing
Yeah.
for a lot of people. I happen to love it. I think John
I love
happens
it.
to love it.
Yeah.
That being said, Mother's Ruin is not something typically I will sip neat.
No, I'm not a neat sipping gin kind of a guy either. Like I'll try it neat, just get an idea of how it's going to be in a gin and tonic or some such thing like that. But I don't typically like. Oh, I think I'll just sit down and have a glass of gin. Like that's not my thing. I might be willing to change.
This is not a London Dry.
Nope.
I mean, the juniper does stand out on the nose,
Yeah.
but this is not a bright, effervescent. Acidic's not the right word. That's something I mentioned earlier. It's but a bright. I'm trying to think of some of the other characteristics. It's not as herbaceous as London Dry.
No.
This is softer.
Yeah.
I can't say that it's a sweet gin, but
No.
and it's not an oily mouthfeel, but
Let's do it. Super. Little peppery on the back end. Just a little hint of pepper on the back end. It's very nice. I mean, the G and T's you could make with this just must be out of this world. Such a good drink.
and again, as I said, this is not something typically. Gin is not something I drink neat.
Mm-mm.
But man, gin is such a good hot weather drink, and considering the climate we have here, this over just over some ice.
Yeah. I think that would be fantastic.
I am not a martini fan, but a gin martini out of this,
Yeah, I think I could deal with that.
a nice dry gin martini with lemon,
Yeah.
I think would be incredible. So how would you describe the profile of this? Because obviously the first thing that you detect when you put your nose in it is the juniper. But what other things stand out to you?
For me, it's coming like now that I've tried it for a second time, it's kind of veering off into like it's still a solid gin, but it's like almost veering into like sake territory, because sake is known for its subtlety and like cherry blossom hints and things like that in there. And there's just as many varieties of sake as there is of gin and rum and whiskey, and there's all sorts of sake varietals. We don't even get a taste of it here in America. You go to a good liquor store, they'll maybe have 5 different sakes. A grocery store or liquor store in Japan might have 150 different sakes from all over the Kanto Plain. But it does have that kind of mouthfeel to me, where it just tastes like a little bit of a light sake feel to it.
You know, I would not have thought about it until you said that, but the first time I ever had heated sake,
Mm-hmm.
it really does have elements of that.
Yeah.
And thinking back, my experience with sake is extremely limited, but the first time I ever had a heated sake, a warm sake, there are some notes in there of that.
Yeah. And typically there's a more buttery note in there, because it's brewed from rice. And but the thing that it has in common is it's delicate, and the except for that pepper on the back end, most of the flavoring is very nuanced, very subtle. And that's what the Japanese like. That's what the Japanese like in their whiskeys. That's what the Japanese like in their sakes. They like subtle things.
The difference in this, instead of having that buttery nutty, I just noticed on the back of it, this is from sugarcane.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is more of a neutral rum based.
Mm-hmm.
But damn if that's not just such a good gin.
It's a treat. Yeah, if you're a gin fan, I think that's one you need to add to your collection, no doubt.
Thank you to our local municipal airport.
Thought they'd just pop over, say hello. No
That's the
worries.
sound of money, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, the botanicals. You were talking about the botanicals earlier, and obviously juniper would have to be one of them.
Yep.
But salvia is one, and you mentioned earlier salvia associated with mind altering.
Yep.
I would assume this is akin to absinthe, in that the mind altering stuff may not necessarily be in play.
Right.
But still wants to get the name on it. Citrus aurantium, juniper, menta, or they have in parentheses mentha. I wonder if that's mint.
I'll bet. Must be mint.
I didn't do due diligence on this one and look up some of these things, because it gives the Spanish name and then the Latin name of the different botanicals. But I'd be damned if that probably isn't mint in this.
I'm sure it is. That's probably where that brightness is coming from the mint.
I mean, it does not have a mint forward flavor.
No.
But it's just slightly herbal, slightly mineral, in just that kind of a hint of an aspect that really makes it unique. I've never had a gin like this before.
No.
Now, I had seen some gins from Japan I really wanted to try. I haven't yet. There's almost all the gins that I've had have either been local here in the U.S. or London, and had a Scottish gin not that long ago. They were all very good.
Yep.
I haven't had an awful lot of gins that I don't like. And another thing that's nice about gin is that it's an unhyped category. I feel that gin is a category of liquors that have not succumbed to excitement yet in the way that others like mezcal and tequilas have a lot of celebrities now buying up distilleries or lending their name to them. Whiskeys are the same way, although that we just enjoyed one of the Offerman.
Yeah, Nick Offerman's Lagavulin, which is
fantastic stuff.
Fantastic.
But his name on it probably added a little bit of money to
added quite a bit
to the
of
price.
To it. So, yeah.
Gin, I think can still get a lot of really quality gins for a really affordable price.
Yeah, like I was telling him, all I know is there's the aviation gin from Ryan Reynolds,
Which is
he's got his
very
name on
quality
it.
gin.
And it's not ridiculously expensive either. It's like in the $30, $35 range, and it's a really good gin.
He's still affiliated with it, but I believe he sold the brand.
Yeah. And then the other one is, like I was showing him, that Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg have put out a line of canned gin and juice drinks. So there's that. And capitalizing on that, and more power to them.
So
haven't tried them yet, but we'll do that down the road somewhere.
So speaking of cocktails, now that we tried this neat,
yeah, it's gin and tonic time.
It's crying for a cocktail.
It's begging.
He couldn't resist. We got two variations here. One, simple gin and tonic. That is just under 2 ounces of gin.
Yep.
Splash of lime and a small container of Fever Tree tonic.
Yum.
Mine, standard gimlet, which came out to about an ounce of gin, half ounce of simple, half ounce of lime juice, and then stirred liberally in the ice to help it melt just a little bit and moderate. And oh my God, that is just perfection. That is just perfection.
Fantastic.
I defy anybody to say that's not a fine drink, but the gin itself, I think it's noticeable. The juniper is not as strong.
It's a lot more of the lime come forward.
Yeah, I noticed the lime a lot more. This is more like a hug rather than a firm handshake.
Exactly. Little, how you doing? Happy summer, not how are ya? Hey.
I mean, the whole point of a cocktail, from my perspective, was to make a liquor that may not be up to neat drinking standards palatable.
That really is true. And
But-
gin kind of started because of the bathtub
Yeah.
gins during Prohibition that were so terrible. That's where they started adding more, herbals and botanicals to improve the flavor, and then they just started mixing it into cocktails.
But if you start with a quality ingredient, it makes the finished product that much
Yeah.
better. And holy God, is this good?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
That's just delicious.
Not everybody's gonna love a gin, even a quality good gin. But
And look, I wasn't a gin fan for years, and then a friend of mine in Japan, who's Australian, is like, "Oh, you can't really enjoy summer if you can't enjoy gin and tonic." And he got me to just try one, and it was a super hot day. We were sitting out on this patio at this British pub by the park. It was fantastic. His whole family was there. All right, I'll try one. It's happy hour, so give me your freebie. And if I don't like it, if I do like it, I'll buy the next round. There you go. And I liked it. I was like, hey, that's actually really refreshing on this nice hot summer day. And since then, it's always been one of my go-to summer drinks.
between either a gimlet or gin and tonic and a mojito,
Mm-hmm.
I think are two of the best summer drinks, and both can be made from dirt cheap liquor,
Yep.
whether it's a gin or a silver rum.
Yep. Gin and tonics, mojitos, gimlets, and if you do it right, margaritas. Right, margaritas. You don't have to have frozen margarita. You don't have to have a blender. It's just some good tequila in the proper mix.
And while I'm not a fan of it, I still say, and we spoke about this earlier, a good dry gin martini out of this gin with an expression of lemon would probably be lights out good.
Yummy.
It's clean, it's friendly, it's a little citrus forward. The botanicals aren't too heavy and in your face. Man, this is a quality liquor. So there you go.
Go get yourself some.
Go get yourself some. Wholeheartedly endorse it. If you couldn't tell by my previous statement, I bought it before. The second time I bought this bottle, and I if I'm going to keep a gin on my bar, which I don't always, this would probably be one of my first choices.
Mm.
All right, my friends, enjoy responsibly, and until next time.